are some stereotypes that the left has kind of bought into about what the arguments are on the other side, and it doesn't make us sharper to misrepresent what the other side is actually saying. It actually makes us weaker. It is what it is. And they can get as offended as they want. They can get as
She's speaking facts.
Too about what the arguments are on the other side, and
like I said before, bro, I don't concur with every statement that Anna Kasparian from the TYT says, but certain things that she says are based, are logical, are rational, are true, are irrefutable, indisputable, irrefutable.
I think that there are some stereotypes that the left has kind of bought into about what the arguments are on the other side, and it doesn't make us sharper to misrepresent what the other side is actually saying. It actually makes us weaker. It is what it is. And they can get as offended as they want. They can get as upset as they want.
That's on them.
I don't really care. I'm not about
the snowflake-ish must cease.
It doesn't make us sharper to misrepresent
like I said
what the
before,
other side is actually saying. It actually
like I said before, the softness, the snowflake-ish in society needs to be eradicated.
About what the arguments are on the other side, and it doesn't make us sharper to misrepresent what the other side is actually saying. It actually makes us weaker. It is what it is. And they can get as offended as they want. They can get as upset as they want. I don't really care. I'm not a mouthpiece for anyone, any political party, any political group. My obligation is to share the facts of the story with my audience to the best of my ability, and then do good faith analysis.
Journalistic integrity.
And if they don't like my analysis, they can make whatever decision they want about whether they support or watch the show. One of the things that Justin Siegel says all the time that I love, and he says it repeatedly, is it's complicated, because it is. Like, all of these issues are way more complicated than the way they're being portrayed in partisan media. And so what I want to do is actually understand those complexities, but here's the other thing. Understand the other side in good faith, okay? Because I think that there are some stereotypes that the left has kind of bought into about what the arguments are on the other side.
Negative programming.
And, it doesn't make us sharper to misrepresent what the other side is actually saying. It actually makes us weaker.
More
if
foolish.
If you understand what their arguments are, it'll then allow you to reflect on what your own weaknesses might be in regards to the arguments that you're making. And so, and then one other thing, this was an unexpected.
A plenitude of leftists, bro. As far as a plenitude of leftists, they're on that puppet time, or they're on that puppet-ish. They're on that simpy time, and that pedestalizing, worshiping time, bro. They worship people on their side that are on the same side as them, bro. They think that the people on their side are infallible and yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. The puppet issue is wild, bro.
It'll then allow you to reflect on
confirmation
what your own
bias
weaknesses might be in regards to the arguments that you're making. And so, and then one other thing, and this was an unexpected outcome that I was talking to my husband about just last night. It's actually saying it actually makes us weaker. If you understand what their arguments are, it'll then allow you to reflect on what your own weaknesses might be in regards to the arguments that you're making. And so, and then one other thing, and this was an unexpected outcome that I was talking to my husband about just last night. I've been a lot happier lately, like a lot.
That's good.
That's
dope.
Because once you actually, and look, I want to make the distinction and like draw out a caveat. I'm not talking about like far right, like militia members. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about just mainstream conservatives, Republicans. Once you actually understand what their arguments are or where they're coming from, it's a lot more difficult to be hyperbolic about things, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of start seeing the world around you for what it really is, and there's a certain amount of fear that kind of starts to dissipate, a certain amount of like hyperbolic thinking that starts to go away, and you start to see things a lot more clearly. And the world isn't as messed up as people would have you believe, and that's a good thing. Now, some
Yeah.
people might get super offended at me saying that because they've completely bought into the hyperbolic thinking and they think the world's coming to an end. And there are terrible things happening. I don't want to minimize that, but
Right.
we need to be realistic about what's actually transpiring in the country. And for areas where we need improvement or different policy solutions, we should actually have good faith debates about it and come up
Integrity,
with those solutions.
honesty.
And I think that the current discourse is standing in the way of that.
Yeah, it's really
The current
fascinating.
discourse
Never
is
thought about it,
detrimental,
but it makes perfect sense.
deleterious,
You know, people go into politics and have this very like
childish, unlaudable, uncivilized.
And I think that the current discourse is standing in the way of that.
There's
yeah,
hostility, animosity, there's slander, there's vituperation, there's incivility.
For policy solutions, we should actually have good faith debates about it and come
Immaturity.
up with those solutions. And I think that the current discourse is standing in the way of that.
Yeah,
it's really fascinating. I never thought about that, but it makes perfect sense.
it's a hindrance.
You know, people
It's
go
a
into
preclusion.
politics and it's very like the other side is either composed of like all racists who want to enable, you know, some kind of fascistic regime against me, or like the other side is all made of like, you know, communists who want to take over the country. Like it's gonna put you in this headspace. You're like, oh my god, like I'm in this fight for my life. Like this is like the most important thing ever. And then you're like, well, once you start to see like, well, yeah, there's small pockets of that exist, but the average person is not that. You're like, oh
It
my
is
god,
injudicious to make blanket statements and make
the world
preconceptions and
Yeah.
prejudgments.
First of all, and I don't know your take on North Peters, but it is like the first rule is tell the truth. And I feel like coming to a place in your life where you're like, I feel like I'm honestly telling the truth now, I can see where that would make me feel.
There's good and bad in every group, on every side. I always say that. There's good conservatives, there's good liberals, there's good independents.
I just thought
There's bad conservatives, there's bad liberals, there's bad independents. There's bad liberals.
A lot of people to categorize
Don't make blanket statements.
Nazi pieces of shit. You know, none of us are in favor of it. For moderate Republicans who just want some, you know, they have a different spin on some sort of policy prescription. Which my thinking of the world is, you know, you've got the conservatives on the right who are kind of playing defense for society, and you have liberals and progressives on the right who are kind of more on the left who are kind of playing offense for society. They're the ones that are pitching all of these great policies for making society better. And conservatives are kind of saying, well, we're kind of good where we are now. Should we take the risk of doing this? And you really need, I mean, what sports team doesn't have a good offense and a good defense is going to be a winning team. So a lot of the political polarization I see as part of the problem here. And one of the nice things about you starting to realize, you know, there are people on the right that aren't just crazy, insane.
She woke up.
Clearly to your audience.
She awakened.
A great position to be in. You might be able to deal with some of the political polarization.
She extricated herself from the far left extremism group.
Many of the policy ideas they have or the perspectives they espouse, but there are good faith, thoughtful, conservative Republicans out there. Like I think Glenn Lowry is a good example. You know, again, I might not agree with everything he has to say, but
You
he's
don't
a
have to
thoughtful
agree with
person,
everything.
and he is not in any way justifying
Have veneration.
white supremacy or some of the like hyperbolic things that he might get accused of by those on the left. And again, it's really about understanding in good faith the other side,
Honesty and integrity.
being able to, I guess, debate the issue
Debate
as
civilly.
opposed to, like what I
And
see happening
intelligently,
right now is,
maturely, with equanimity, with compass mentis.
I want the left to engage in the argument as opposed to
and peaceful.
what I see happening, which is them engaging in like ad hominem
Yeah,
in a lot of
below
cases,
attacks, below the bed
character
attacks,
assassination, or
smearing,
statements
slandering,
about the individual's
castigation.
character based on their preconceived notions and based on what they heard other streamers say about
Negative
the individual.
programming.
It's like, okay, just take a step back for a second. You need to address the point that this
Go at the
person is
argument.
making.
Don't
If you're
go.
not
Don't
addressing
make.
the point that the person
Don't
is making,
make
instead
personal
you're turning
attacks.
around
Don't
and
resort to
throwing all
name
sorts of,
calling
accusations
and verbal
at them
abuse.
to make them seem like they're immoral or they're bad people.
Yeah, that's
So that
corny.
tells me that you don't really have an answer to what they're
Your
saying.
character is trash
And
if you
I
do that.
see that happening more when it
If
comes
you
to
resort
social
to
related issues
verbal
as
assault.
opposed to economic issues, and that's the other thing. I mean, I think the left has completely, and they'll deny this, but
Yep.
I mean, just go to Twitter right now. They've like abandoned economic policies and instead hyper focus. I think that the left has completely, and they'll deny this, but I mean, just go to Twitter right now. They've like abandoned economic policies and instead hyper focused on incredibly divisive, like identity related issues, right?
Yeah.
And like their take is always, oh well, the other side wants us just because they're racist. That's why they're transphobic. That's why.
It's crazy,
You gotta
bro.
do more than that. So if you're gonna, if you're gonna refute what they're saying, then actually address the points they're making. And if
Right.
you're not gonna do that, you're gonna come out looking incredibly weak and childish.
Foolish, immature,
You probably don't know this.
uncivilized,
MMT.
idiotic.
If you're gonna refute what they're saying,
You're gonna look
then
like a
actually
clown.
address the points they're making. And if you're not gonna do that, you're gonna come out looking
Abstain
incredibly
from
weak
talking
and
if you're
childish.
not gonna speak civilly to people who have dissident opinions, to people who are on the opposite side politically, who have different opinions. You have to speak civilly, man. You have to be mature. If you're not gonna be mature, abstain from
If you're
speaking.
gonna refute what they're saying, then actually address the points
Refrain
they're
from
making.
speaking.
And if you're not gonna do that, you're gonna come out looking incredibly weak and childish.
Yeah.
You probably don't know this, but we talk about MMT at UBI on the street quite often. It drives people crazy. I mean, how do you make affordable housing sexy? It's not
No, I know.
necessarily a thing.
Well, I mean, it's surprising because I did a story just last Wednesday on Airbnb crashing
I
and
watch that video. Yeah.
yeah, and that video I'm kind of shocked. It got like 200,000 views. Not something I expected. I thought like, oh, it's a dense, like statistics driven, video, but it did well. And I think that there is a hunger for those types of videos and for that type of content. It's not going to go super viral like some hyperbolic, video about like a police shooting or about an alleged Karen, right? But I don't really care.
she's
Like,
that's a subliminal diss at Refraud Richie. That wokey, that racist.
Discord that does nothing to improve anyone's life.
Deleteriousness.
And I feel like I've been engaging in that, and I feel embarrassed about it. And
Self-accountability.
That's really where I'm coming
She's
from.
taking self-accountability.
I want to get people housing. Those are the issues that matter.
Yeah, that divisive rhetoric
In order to
is
do that, you kinda have to work with
unlaudable.
Republicans. And that's where I think this
This
stereotype
anti-white
of
stuff
Republicans is even racist.
It's really
It's
whack.
ultimately not helpful. And
It's
if you
wicked.
want healthcare, you can't work with the evil racists to get healthcare done. You just can't do it.
Wokeism is a blight. Wokeism is
okay,
terrible.
Let's put healthcare aside for a second, because here's the other
Radicalism
thing.
is terrible.
The far left will push ideas that are not popular with the general public, right? So I think that protecting
I hope Anna doesn't
marginalized
fold and cave
communities,
into the mob,
the
to the
transgender
woke
community
mob,
is important.
and
However, when you move out of or move far away from making sure that they are not denied housing, making sure that they're not denied healthcare, when you move into like these more fringe areas of like, I mean, there was a story out of the UK this week, blows my mind. There was an LGBTQ.
I think Anna's staying strong. I don't think she's gonna fold or cave in. A lot of people do fold and cave in, and that's corny to
might
me.
be offensive to transgender men. One of the potential replacements or substitutes could be bonus hole.
Bonus hole?
Yeah. bonus holes.
Yo, bonus
And
holes. That's crazy. That's a crazy word. Term.
people
I
don't
meant to
like
say
this
a
stuff.
crazy
Okay?
term.
So they might not be
Yeah.
on Twitter talking about how much they
Wokeism,
dislike
bro.
this stuff, but on average, every normie woman I've talked to is like, I can't stand this stuff, right? So
Yeah, this erasure of
talk about
biological,
it. I think
this
we talked about it in
erasure
the context
and,
of
and exclusion of
trans athletes
biological
or whatever.
women. Crazy,
And it
bro.
was, hey, we got to be a little more strategic, because if you do this, if you start pushing a mainstream Democratic Party to run their campaign on these like fringe issues, they might not get reelected, or they might not get elected at all if they're running against a Republican in a district. And the response, the same response we got when we made the same point about the stupid prison abolition movement is, we don't care. We don't care. It's the right thing to do. We don't care. It's like, okay, but then you complain about what Republicans are doing in various red states. So do you want more Republicans to get elected? And do you want more of these, look, I think that some of these laws that have been passed in various red states, for instance, banning gender affirming care for adults, between the ages of 18 to 25, I think that's wrong. I think adults should be able to make a decision about their own bodies. I do think that there is a worthwhile debate when it comes to, hormone blockers and cross types of hormones for children, and we should have that debate in good faith. But I don't want the pendulum to swing far to the right. I would venture to say the left feels the same way, except I'm not so sure. Because to them, going on Twitter and patting themselves on the back for being the most
Fake
pure
virtue.
is more important to them than
Sanctimonious.
strategy. It's more important to them than actually accomplishing the policies that they claim to want to accomplish.
That's fine.
Every time I make that point, they'll be like, oh, you don't even know. There are people on the ground, activists on the ground, working hard to make this happen. And it's like, I mean, I'm not blind. I see what's happening in the country right now. So you can tell me about, your imaginary on-the-ground activists making real change happen as we speak, but I'm not buying it. So it is what it is. And they can get as offended as they want. They can get as upset as they want.
That's on them.
I don't really care. I'm not a mouthpiece for anyone, any political
She
party.
said she's
any
not a
political
shield
group.
or a puppet or a
My
simp of the
obligation
left
is to
or
share
the right or
the
any
facts of the story with my audience, to the
of
best of
any
my
group.
ability, and then do good faith analysis on those stories.
Journalistic
And if they don't like
integrity
my analysis, they
is
can make
is
whatever
important.
decisions they want about
Undoubtedly,
whether they
indubitably.
support or watch the show.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I might be engaging in a little bit of self-sabotage, because I don't know what the outcome
Don't
will
fall to the
be.
mob.
There is no big play here. I'm not leaving TYT. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't know what the outcome will eventually be, to be honest.
Hi, you just listen to me.
Yeah, man, that's it, man. Shout out to her for extricating herself from the circle of far left extremism, bro. Radicalism. Salute to her for waking up. And yeah, bro. And yeah, bro. Salute to her for not hating all conservatives. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people hate all conservatives, and that's whack. That's detrimental, bro. That's not. It makes no sense to hate all conservatives. You don't know all conservatives. How can you hate all conservatives when you don't even know all conservatives? You're not a good person if you have hatred in your heart for all conservatives, bro. Hating all conservatives does not make you a good person, bro. It doesn't, bro. You certain people deludedly think that they're good people, but they're not, bro. I'm about to get up out of here. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.